Yeah, thank you. Would love to have your cameras on rather than speaking to myself. I would love to see all of you and speak, but totally understand if you are uncomfortable. But this is a safe space. It's fine for your pets, for your kids, for your parents, for your spouses to be around you. It's okay for you to be having your lunch, snacking, having chai. Absolutely, that's fine. With that, a very warm welcome to yet another open house in the GwS Learning Guild. For those of you who are joining the sessions for the first time, a little bit about what this guild is and what we do and what does this open house. GwS Learning Guild is a collective of all leaders who are interested in some form or fashion with organizational learning. Yeah, that organization could be your corporate, that organization could be your MSME, could be a college. It doesn't matter. As long as you're aligned and interested with learning, you're most welcome to join the group. We do have sessions that are organized by the members of the community itself. Preeti from our community last time, she did an amazing session on NLP and how it impacts the learning design, has been very well appreciated. And those of you who've joined a little bit later might, we can probably put the link to that session also in the chat so that it is refreshed. These open houses, we normally have a monthly theme. We have some discussions that continue happening through the month in the group. And at the end of the month, we will have a group discussion where we all share views. And all the collective wisdom is converted into a PDF and presented back to you. Yeah. And our last time's theme was around, getting buy-in for leadership programs from leadership. How do you sell? How do you generate ROI, show ROI for your learning programs? We had some lovely discussions, lovely inputs that were offered, and we converted that into a PDF and shared back with the audience with all the lessons learned. This time, the focus is on building a culture of coaching in the organization. How does that enable growth, accountability, and engagement for your organizations? Let me start sharing. I think I'm already sharing. Yeah. Um, so what we did to get people thinking is we've done a set of polls. We've done a set of 4 polls. We will talk about what those polls tell us and what it means in terms of building culture. But then let's get a quick understanding of who is here today. So I will ask a few questions and you can just unmute and respond and put in chat whatever works for you. Um, my first question, what is coaching according to you?
So maybe I'll respond now. So according to me, coaching is something personalized, and sometimes it might be personalized for a group of people, majorly to create a, a space where we are given a solution or we are given the direction to achieve our goals. It can be personal goals or professional goals, whatever. Like to achieving that, somebody is giving the guidance and direction.
I love that definition. When somebody guides you towards you achieving your defined goals, it is coaching. Any other thoughts, any other definitions and understanding of what coaching is? Yeah, if not, let's proceed. I'll come to the definition of coaching as per ICF in a short while. Um, Anyone here who has been a coach already? I know Sunbul mentioned that she's been coaching young adults. Anyone else who wants to put up their hand and say, yes, I've been coaching?
I have done it, but not as the part of my professional journey. So, as a
Mhm.
passion, like apart from my profession, like I do mehendi. So I'm like a mehendi artist, and as a part of it, like I have coached a few young interested people.
So according to you, coaching is also about guiding with regards to a particular skill.
Hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll talk about a definition. When we talk about coaching here, it means something different. Yeah, what you're talking about is probably more aligned with training. When I talk about if I'm teaching you how to code in using Python, yeah, it's a skill that I'm imparting. That is more of a training. If I'm teaching, in your example, if you're teaching somebody how to, uh, put mehendi on somebody's palms, that is
No,
also training.
understandable.
Yeah,
So from my
yeah.
side, like apart from like training on the skills exactly, like sharing on, how to grow their business, how they have to market themselves. So all other parts, like I have assumed it as coaching.
Yeah, yeah, we'll come to the definition. You're talking about a combination of training and mentoring. Coaching is something else. We'll come to it. But
Got it.
lovely definition. Thank you, Maha. Yeah. Anyone else here who has coached? All right. Anybody who's been a coachee, who somebody that has coached them? Yeah, I think my definition threw people off. Now they're wondering, did I actually get coached or did I get trained and mentored? All right. Um, I won't
In that
answer. Huh.
case, sorry to interrupt you there. In that case, I would
Mhm.
say when I was doing my internship, uh, of the final, I'm an architect actually.
Mhm.
So when I
Sumbul,
was doing my,
I can see your nice background, but I can't see you.
I think my camera somewhere is logged. I need to
Is
check that.
playing? Okay, no worries.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
because
please.
I usually connect through Google Meet, and
Mm,
so there the camera was working fine. I don't know what's wrong
no
with
worries.
Teams. So, when I was doing my final year internship in architecture, there I was coached really well by the principal architect who taught me on both personal and professional development goals. He sat with me and he taught me how to write professional emails, which you would otherwise see is lacking. And being able to communicate effectively with your clients uh, is a very, very essential part of any individual's professional growth. And these are very nuanced uh, things wherein people have to put in efforts and people have to go out of way to do it for an intern. And I was really lucky that he sat me through. And even when it comes to used to come to personal level, he used to guide me through. So I think I had a wonderful experience with him, and given a chance, I would love to go back to him and learn and be coached from him. I
Awesome.
believe I fit in that definition of your coaching, or am I not
let's
aligned with
look
you?
at let's look at the ICF definition of coaching. Yeah, so ICF is International Coaching Federation. It is the authority in terms of what coaching is, the rules, the guidelines, the approaches, the frameworks. It is all governed by this central international body, International Coaching Federation, and it defines coaching as a process. Apologies for the typo that was made today morning. uh, as a process of partnering with the client in a thought provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. So, as long as that part where both Maha and Sunbul, you mentioned that there is a goal and I'm working towards that goal, and somebody enables that move towards the goal, definitely right. However, there's a minor difference between training, coaching, mentoring, and therapy. Let me quickly articulate that for you so that the rest of the session continues to make sense. Uh, Training is, I am an expert, I know about the subject, and hence I can teach you, I can tell you, I can guide you. That is training. Yeah, it could be from as simple as um, how to code in Python, how to do Mehendi, how to lead a team, how to, what do you say, how to reach from destination A to destination B because I've been there. No, all of this is training, telling you do this, do this, do this. This will work, this will not work. All of that is training. Mentoring is when I share from my experience, but there is no eval. The training typically has a success or a failure, and the trainer decides This is what I am going to say. Others join whatever the trainer is going to say. To give you an example, last time's Preeti session, she already had a pack designed. It was already decided what she is going to share, and everybody who joined the session had to, absorb whatever she said. So there was not much of flexibility in terms of the content she's going to share. Whereas if Preeti was mentoring on that day, she would come and say, okay, this is a discussion around NLP in training, in learning. You tell me what you want to talk about. People will ask her questions. How will you do this? How will you do this? What if this happens? What if that happens? And then Preeti would have shared examples from her experience in terms of what works, what doesn't work. There, a lot of the structure, the way in which the conversation goes is driven by the mentee, the participants. Whereas training, the direction of the session is guided by the trainer. They would have already decided end goal. By the end of this 1 hour workshop, participants will be able to learning objectives achieved. That would already be defined. In a mentorship relationship, that is not typically defined. A mentee-mentor relationship is not as formal as a trainer and a trainee relationship. I can have mentors, but those are mentors in my head. The mentor doesn't even know that he or she is a mentor. Yeah, but how do I learn from them? I observe them very closely. How do they conduct? How do they behave? What do they do? What do they say? And from that, I am absorbing. It's like Ekalavya's absorption of, Dronacharya's teachings. There was no teaching that actually happened. That is mentoring, where either through sharing of experiences or through observation, the mentee grasps, learns what is relevant to them. That is mentorship. In both instances, the trainer or the mentor is expected to be a subject matter expert, is expected to uh, have been in that field for a while. Whereas when we move to coaching, it is about the coach need not be an expert uh, in the subject of them for the coachee. Rather, they are an expert in the process of coaching. So coaching is a process. I know we use the term, at least in India, we use it very loosely. We say cricket coach. The person who teaches cricket is a cricket coach. IAS coaching, or IIT engineering coaching classes. We use the term coaching very loosely, but our scope is much limited. All of those are training to play cricket, training to clear an IAS exam, training to clear a banking exam. All of these are training, they are not coaching. In coaching, what typically happens is a coach asks thought-provoking questions, makes the coachee think about themselves, their environment, their behaviors, their patterns, and come up with solutions that are relevant to them. Because the solution that will work for you may not work for the other person. That is the realm of coaching. Yeah, I'll pause here to see what questions people might have before we move into the rest of the session. Hi, Preeta, Ram, welcome.
Hello, Shanti. Good afternoon. Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon. Yeah. Anything that still is fuzzy with the definition of coaching, mentoring, training?
So difficult.
Yes, should we move forward? Yeah, as I mentioned, coach is a subject matter in coaching and not necessarily in the area of expertise of the client, which means I can be a coach to a senior leader in a bank without knowing how a bank works. It means I can be a coach to a technology leader, a technical architect, without knowing anything in technology. Yeah, and how does that work? Because here we are not talking about becoming strong technically. It's more about self-awareness. It's more about what can you do to become a better version of yourselves. Think about coaching as something that enables you to become a better version of yourselves. The role of the coach is to ask you questions. You as a coachee will be thinking a lot about it. Yeah, with that, the first poll that we put out into the group was, who do you think should own the coaching agenda? And here is what we got. Very clearly, people said it should be owned across functions, which is learning, HR, and business together needs to own the agenda of coaching in an organization. Before we proceed, what do you understand by coaching as a culture in an organization? Anyone?
Shanti, I think it should be the way of life.
Absolutely. When the coaching language becomes a way of life in the organization, when people use a coach like language, even in their conversation, not just in a coaching session, but through conversations, we say that the organization has a culture of coaching. Here we are talking about a little bit more formal coaching, and we say that all HR, business leaders, and the learning leaders need to be a good partner. Uh, any idea what does this shared ownership look like? How many of us are coaches in corporates here? Maybe they'll be able to be best able to answer this question. Take a guess. It's okay to be not right. We'll set the course right. What does this shared ownership look like?
Like everyone at all the levels, like everyone at every level is encouraged, and they have to involve themselves as the coach.
Lovely,
So, for
lovely.
example,
As
like
a coach
asking
as well as a
powerful
coachee. Huh?
questions. Uh-huh.
Asking powerful questions. Wonderful. Go ahead, Maha.
Yes, so like from my point, as I mentioned, like asking powerful questions whenever it is required, maybe taking ownership whenever it is needed, or at any point of time, if somebody is needing the support, like they can go and uh, be the coach for themselves.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Shanti,
Any
just
other
to add,
thoughts?
one of the thought which comes to my mind is that I just put an article on LinkedIn wherein I mentioned, what if all the managers turned coaches? Right?
I would love that world.
Yeah, that was one thing. So what I felt that you have a safe place to fail, Shanti, a psychological place
Yeah,
to fail, right?
yeah,
So when it boils down, everything is the HR's initiative, the LnD has to do this, then it doesn't fly, Shanti, until and
it
unless there's a
doesn't.
good leadership buy-in, and also a shared ownership the manager takes and also the C-level takes, and takes coaching
Yeah,
very seriously. So a HR folk or a LND folk cannot run coaching mindset across the organization, Shanti.
absolutely, absolutely. And I've had the biggest struggle when I'm pitching coaching in organization. Most organizations treat coaching as a remedial.
Right.
uh, they are focused on performance coaching.
Yes.
Somebody is not performing well. Um, I've even had instances when a corporate said, we have 6 leaders, can you coach them 6 sessions? I happily agreed, started coaching. After the first session, I had to meet up with the leader to share my views in terms of, how things are going. And I did mention confidential, I can't share, but if there is any input they
Yeah.
would have as a leader, they can give me. So that was a little bit upsetting for them that you're sticking so true to your contract, you won't share what you discussed with your coach. That upset them. Then I
Yeah.
got to understand that these 6 people will be let go in the next
Okay.
3 months.
Okay.
And in my first conversation, at least 4 of the 6 had high hopes, high plans. They really wanted to do well, and all the conversation was about how can I shine, how can I do better, how can I bring more value to my team and organization. And here the MD is telling me that in the next 3 months we will be laying these people off. Don't share this information with them. We want them to feel safe. And hence I said, not happening. When the leadership, the people who are being coached, and the HR are completely disconnected.
Yeah.
Um, it was absolute chaos. Yeah. Any other thoughts before I move on to the next question? Yeah, all right. Let's move on to the next question. What role can HR and L&D play in building that culture of coaching? Ram, you're thinking deep. What's coming to your mind? This is a safe space, Ram. You can share whatever is coming to your mind. You can also tell me HR should not bother about coaching. They should stay away. That's also fine. But share what's coming to your mind. I'm going to share my perspective. Feel free to add, agree, disagree. Yeah, HR and L&D closely interlinked. Absolutely, Ram. They are very closely interlinked, and they are the drivers of that culture. That's how I would say it. The business is the decision maker, the consumer of coaching. HR and L&D are the drivers of coaching, and hence that partnership, that interlinkage has to be really, really strong. Otherwise, it doesn't fly. HR might not have the tactical wisdom to understand the real business problems that the business is going. So when it comes to discussing contracting, what do you want to achieve through this coaching? I think business needs to be involved. When it comes to identifying the right coaches, explaining to the coach what kind of behaviors does the organization want the leaders to embrace, want the team members to embrace, I think HR can play a brilliant role. LnD can play a brilliant role in terms of contracting, commercials. HR can do. If business is the decision maker, if they are the people who are funding, they can do. But business needs to be party to the whole discussion where they are listening in. Why is a coach being assigned? uh, not giving the impression that there is something wrong in me and I'm being fixed, and hence a coach has been assigned. Invariably, coaching is aspirational, it is not remedial, it is not to fix people. Coaching is all about, can I make, can I be a better version of myself? Whether I'm a leader, I'm an individual contributor, I'm a tech person, I'm a team leader, it doesn't matter. Can I be a better version of myself? So, yes, absolutely. These two go hand in hand. And I'm going to talk about a concept called as the coaching maturity curve, that we hope HR and LnD are able to take people through. What is this coaching maturity model? Yeah, it is a framework that describes the various stages of how coaching evolves within an organization, from very reactive individual interventions to what we were talking about when we say culture of coaching, that everybody uses that language of coaching. So let's start with the first one, which is ad hoc and reactive coaching. Typically, this is used very sparingly, occasionally, only when there is a problem, only to fix underperformers, poor performers. There is no structure, approach, or strategy. There is a guideline given. Like, what happened to me? We're going to let go these people or put this person on a PIP, give them a coaching, and show them the way out of the door. Typically, coaching is seen as a remedial tool, and that's the lowest form of coaching culture that an organization can have. Uh, Most of the organizations start here. Yeah, their first engagement with coaching happens as a remedial form where their leaders coach their team members for performance related issues, and it's all about fixing. The mindset is, I have to fix my coachee. The next stage is where some structure is brought in. There is some programming, there is a method to the madness. Coaching is introduced typically as a part of a talent, as a leadership, as a high performance development program. It is not democratic. Not everybody has access to coaching. It is very elitist in nature. Only cherry picked, hand picked people are put through the programs. External coaches are brought in. Very few internal coaches because of the lack of skill and competency. They're not certified coaches. They may be amazing mentors. And hence, a lot of support is offered to them. And people, it creates that desire. Oh, if I'm part of the this organization's IDP, individual development program, then I have access to coaching, otherwise I don't. As the organizations mature, I think coaching becomes more democratic, where the managers also start using a coaching language. Teams or business units begin embracing coaching as a growth tool. How can manager as a coach be encouraged to use a coaching language? Coaching is seen as very proactive. Coaching is seen as not just performance related. It is seen as a growth enabler. That's the mindset in this phase, the third stage, where coaching is seen as a supporter of growth, as an enabler of growth, and not as a remedial tool. When organizations mature, where all managers, all leaders have started using a coaching language, I think we move to the stage 4, where coaching becomes a culture. Coaching is embedded across processes, across levels, from the junior most employee, from the frontline employee to the C-suite, to the MD, to the board of directors, to everyone across. Managers are equipped to use that coaching language. Managers are equipped to um, practice coaching in formal conversations and even casual conversations. And employees seek and offer coaching. So even friends should be okay to be coaching each other. Colleagues should be okay to be coaching each other. Um, Coaching is a part of the performance cycle, performance review cycle. It is how leaders, it is one of the leaders' KPIs, including in the onboarding stage. Yeah. And the mindset here is coaching is an everyday practice. I don't have to do coaching. I am being a coach always. Once a coach, always a coach. That's the mindset. Very, very few organizations are in this space, coaching as a culture. Our, all coaches have a dream, and I can share this for on behalf of all the coaches. Coaching as a strategic advantage. What does that mean? Um, Coaching used to drive agility, innovation, retention, engagement, performance. It is aligned with business strategy. It is aligned with transformational goals, individual goals, personal goals. So people are living coaching through their day-to-day work. There is technology that supports, there is systems that support, there is processes that support coaching at scale, and it is not elitist. It's not just a handful of high performers who are, pulled up and said, you only you can have access to coaching. It becomes more democratic, and everybody has an access to coaching. And I love to call it, coaching becomes the organizational DNA. um, I'm not sure how readable this slide is on your screens, but happy to share the slides post the session. A couple of questions based on what you've just heard, and very warm welcome to all those who've just joined. Now, where are your organizations right now in your coaching journey? You can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the chat, or just unmute and speak. And I'd like to know, how did you gauge, how did you make out that your organization is at a particular stage? Two, Maha, what made you take that guess? Raham says 1. Yeah, thanks for the honesty, Ram. I think the first step towards making change is acknowledgement of the current state. This is where we are. So, well done. Any other share? Anybody else wants to acknowledge, say where we are? Preeta, Chandni, Sunbul, Ishita, Ashwin, where are your organizations right now, according to you? Somewhere between 1 and 2. Love that there is already a move that you are seeing, Chandni. Yeah, so very evidently, most organizations are much lower in the journey of making coaching as a culture. So my now next question is, what can you as HR and LND do to move up the coaching curve? What's in your hands? Thanks, Ishita. Just unmute and speak, people. What can HR and LND do to help their organizations move up the curve?
So from my side, I'd say uh, I have to like enlighten the leadership initially. So they'll be preferring only for immediate business outcomes, and everything
Yeah,
will be seen in terms of like money. And
yes,
in this way, this is not going to give any immediate returns. So as per my understanding, and it is going to be slowly a cultural building. So I have to
absolutely.
enlighten them clearly. That will be the first thing. And second thing, after getting yes from them, I have to enable the managers or team leads. So that they'll be the initial first set of people who has to accept for this culture. So
Brilliant.
like they have to be coached on how coaching will be helping and how coaching will be like forming as the culture of the organization. So after that, like step by step, it'll be moving downward.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maha. So, a couple of things you mentioned. One, you need to be able to showcase the ROI to the leaders, get their buy in, get them involved in the process, get them to experience what coaching is so that the trust starts to build and then slowly convert it into a program which is dispersed. Very nice. Anyone else? Anything I could not capture, Maha?
No, the same thing I was mentioning.
Um, Anyone else? Okay, let me share what HR and L&D can do. Definitely agree to what Maha said. That's a starting point. Getting the buy-in. Second, there are lots of organizations that enable your leaders to experience what coaching is. These are not expensive. They could be pro bono, they could be low bono, but the idea is, can people experience what coaching is, the benefits? Um, and once they experience what coaching is, then the need, oh, you know what, I can change my life, transform my life, change my work, change my relationships with my colleagues. That kind of trust in the process is set in stone. You can enable. HR can actually invite coaches to share stories about how coaching has transformed lives and organizations and teams and the change it has been able to bring about, not with the purpose of selling coaching, but with the purpose of educating people on what coaching is. The first, that's what we did in the beginning of the session. Can we understand the difference between training, coaching, mentoring to start with? Can the leaders have a clear distinction between, are they mentoring, are they coaching, are they training in that moment? Is a very good first step. And then we take it forward saying, okay, how much are you equipped to coach your team members? Yeah, because coaching does involve digging a lot within. Um, and people may not be as comfortable in a coaching relationship with their managers. That might be the right time to say, okay, let's involve external coaches. Yeah. With that, moving on to the other poll we had put up on the group, you know, which type of coaching is most visible impact in your organization? And a lot of you said executive coaching, peer coaching, manager as a coach. Very few people have not measured it. Most organizations that are engaging in coaching, they are using all kinds of coaching, executive, peer, and manager as a coach. Does everybody here understand the difference between these three terms? Would you want me to call it out? Let me call it out. Yeah. Executive coaching is when an external coach coaches the top executives, the CXOs, the directors, vice presidents, that top cream, the top band in the organization. Typically, these are sponsored by the organization. Typically, these talk about strategy and organizational change and organizational development and people moving from a vice president to a director role, from a director role to the CXO role, CXO to the CEO role. That kind of transitions and moves are typically what gets discussed in executive coaching. Peer coaching is where it is absolutely fine for team members to use a coaching language to help and enable each other. Here is where people don't rescue. So if somebody comes and asks me, Shanti, can you please teach me how to create a pivot table on Excel? I can say, give me the data, I'll do it for you. What happens then is next time the person is again dependent on me. Can I coach the person? What have you already tried? No, have you tried this? Do you want to try this? What else do you think will help you create a better pivot rather than doing and teaching them step by step or giving them a step by step guide? That would be peer coaching. No sponsorship required. That's true culture of coaching where everybody coaches everyone. The third one is manager as a coach, whereas the manager is equipped with the coaching skills. Typically, the manager coaches on performance and growth, on capability build, on growing the team, getting the team together. Those are the kinds of topics that the manager as a coach typically engages with. Not Manager as a coach can't dig deeper into the personal aspects because the relationship is such. And that's where, when wherever the limits of the manager ends, that's where the external coaches step in. Any idea how can coaching be measured in organizations? How do organizations measure coaching, the impact of coaching? No, Maha alluded to the point, right? It is going to be a slow process. It's going to take several months before um, results can be seen. But what are these results that people are looking forward to? Any idea? Today it's a terribly silent group and I'm wondering what's happening. Okay.
I think it is during the performance reviews and things like that, Shanti. Coaching can be measured pre and post.
Absolutely. And
Basically, what I mean to say is the performance metrics, then goal achievement.
Performance metrics, goal achievements, yes.
It can show up in 360s or observation-based evaluations, which are not very quantifiable, but still can give some measures.
Observation, surveys, feedbacks, yes. And
Maybe behavioral changes.
behavioral changes. Thank you, Mahan. A lot of assessments tell you how behaviors have changed. Can the metrics be taken through observation? Absolutely, yes. So we can put out a survey. If all of us are Maha's team members, we can do a survey for Maha, and each one of us can rate Maha on various behavioral parameters. No, Maha seems approachable. 1 not approachable at all. 5 very approachable. Maha is a helpful team member. She is willing to collaborate. 1 not at all. 5 totally agree. We can do surveys like this that gather. So we do before the coaching engagement and after the coaching engagement to see, was Maha at 3 on 5 earlier and has she moved to 4 on 5, 4.5 on 5? That kind of change and transformation is definitely what organizations are looking for. I have a small graphic that I asked ChatGPT to create for me in terms of where all do we measure coaching. So I'm going to just talk through some of these. Yeah, organizations can measure the impact of coaching engagement through a combination of quantitative and qualitative, and both methods I'm hoping you are able to see on the screen. First one is, as you already mentioned, pre-post coaching assessments or 360 feedback, where people who are part of the team, their seniors, their team members provide feedback for that particular team member, or there are assessments where people attempt the assessment as a self-reflection or observer reflection. Both of it can be done. They compare multiple feedback before and after coaching to track behavior change. Self-assessment track growth. Typically, I'm my best judge of how my confidence has improved, yeah, or um, how I am able to cope up with change. I may not be showing all the stress, but I am feeling it within. So both kinds of assessment for different kinds of things, whether it is others observed by others or self-assessed, are relevant. Business KPIs, as Preeta mentioned, linked to goals, performance metrics. It measures changes in team performance and individual performance and goal achievement. Project delivery before and after coaching. How much time for the same task, how much time did they take before and then after? Even things like retention and promotion rates are great measures for tracking the impact of coaching. Next one is, of course, stakeholder feedback, where stakeholder stakeholders are sought feedback from before and after the coaching engagement, from managers, peers, direct reports, uh, typically done for behavioral changes. How did the person behave in this situation? Are they able to handle stress? Are they responsive? Do they take accountability? Those kinds of questions are asked, and then responses are gathered before and after. Several coaches use coaching engagement dashboards, scoreboards, to track, did people show up for the sessions? How many sessions did they complete? How satisfied was the coachee with the coach? How satisfied was the coach with the coachee? And how long did the engagement last? Did they, every time, if in a 1 hour conversation, did they always wrap up at 30, 35 minutes, or every time it was an extension? What does that show? Are the conversations really deep, superficial? All of that. And of course, impact stories are a brilliant way where HR and LnD can share stories, whether within the organization. If you don't have stories within the organization, there are umpteen stories available on the internet to showcase the benefit of coaching, and lots of videos that talk about, I was coached and this is what happened, this is what transpired. Those are amazing ways to measure coaching. ROI, ROE models basically means there are some ROI calculators. There is an Philips ROI calculator, or the Kirkpatrick's one that we typically use in most of corporates. Also talks about financially, how much has coaching impacted the bottom line. Very difficult to quantify. Has coaching been the only reason to impact the bottom line? Very difficult. But has coaching been contributor? Definitely can be evaluated. So lots of these ways in which coaching should be measured and replayed back to the leaders. Any questions on what you're seeing?
I have
Shanti,
a
I
question.
was sorry. Please go ahead. Go ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks, Preeta. I had the question for coaching. So I look at coaching as a going concern, something that's ongoing for somebody.
Yeah.
Even if it has a targeted approach or an overall holistic approach for any individual or any executive. Now, I wanted to ask, how much time can we give to quantify the outcome of the coaching? May not be very may or may not be very related, like ROI models, like we really cannot say that this is only because of coaching. How
Yes.
much time should anybody be provided to check the before and after for the coaching, executive coaching?
That's a tough question to answer, Ishita. Uh, People who are very willing and open to change and transformation, willing to put themselves in uncomfortable situations, you can see change and transformation in as less as 3 months. Yeah. But you may have people who are very cautious, who are very risk averse, who are very skeptical about stepping into uncomfortable zones or taking risks. It may take about a year to see signs of change and transformation. So, coaching is a long process. You can't expect magic to happen. The only magic coaching can bring about is that the change and the transformation is permanent because it happens from within. It is not a superficial change. For example, I can give people a productivity tool and say, please use this spreadsheet to become more productive. People will start using it. 1 week we will see a spike in production. People will get busy doing other things, and then you will see the graph go down. It gets lost. It's not a permanent change. Whereas when coaching is used to bring about change in behavior, it is more permanent because it becomes the way the coachee lives, breathes. Be It is becoming of a different person that the coachee chooses to be. So yes, it can take anywhere from 3 months to lifelongs. It's an ongoing process. But when we talk about corporates, they engage coaches for a certain duration of a time. If it's an IDP, a year-long IDP, then it's a year-long engagement, 10, 12 sessions. It could also be a short duration, 3 months. Can you do 6 sessions? That is also a possibility. It may be, n number of sessions across the year, across 6 months or something. That is also another format. But in any of these, if you see, there is a time duration for how long, 3 months, 6 months, year long, 9 months, 10 months. So there is a duration. When there is a duration bound program, then the pre and post will give you the ROI. Otherwise, in an ongoing and continuous thing, very difficult to say when was the start, when was the end, because uh, uh, you've not had a baseline. You've not had a baseline measure. And when the coachee has it in mind that I am being measured on ABC parameters, then they will bring in those topics. So when I have a coach too, when I go to my coach, nobody is measuring me on anything. Yeah. So I bring up personal topics, professional topics, relational topics. It doesn't matter. Nobody is going to measure me on anything. Yeah. However, when I coach organizations, the organizations have told their leaders, you are going to be measured on based on stakeholder feedback on these 5 parameters. These are our leadership behaviors on which you will be measured. So they already know what they'll be measured on. So they come to me with the problem statement saying, you know what, I'm going to be measured on building a strong team. I want to be doing other. I want to be measured on, reducing SLAs and TATs. Can I work on that? So they will come to me with a very specific problem that they are overcoming. Then the measure becomes very easy. Yeah, sorry, it was all over the place. I know you're laughing. Yes, Preeta, what's your question?
Shanti, I was just thinking that whatsoever we may have in place, it's all about self-reflection, reflective
It is.
journaling, right? Shanti, because until and unless, even no matter if it's an LnD training or anything, until and unless the individual self measures, there's a reflection done by the individual. Nothing can be done by the LnD, nothing can be done by the HR, Shanti.
Absolutely.
Things
They can
fail
only
totally.
offer these tools.
Yes,
Very true,
yes,
Preeta. HR and LND can be the enabler.
right,
They should not be held responsible for the outcome.
right.
The coach cannot be held responsible for the outcome. The business leaders cannot be held responsible for the outcome. The HR and LND cannot be held responsible for the outcome. Coaching is the only intervention where the coachee is 100% responsible for the outcome.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you for calling it out. Any other thoughts on what you see on the screen? Anybody wants to share, comment, disagree? Very nice bunch of audience. No disagreement. All right, let's move forward. We did another poll to check in How is coaching currently being positioned in your organization? And a lot of them said a formal leadership development tool, which means they are weaving coaching as a part of a development program. They do a pre-assessment for an elite group of people, high performers, top right corner in the 9 box, or all going to get promoted to a certain. There is some criteria in which this elite group of folks are identified. They're put through a leadership development program, and coaching is a part of that journey, which includes projects and group discussions and workshops and coaching and mentoring and this and that. Typically, most organizations use, and that's exactly what our chart also says. A big group also says used on a case by case basis. Um, my observation has been case by case is invariably either it is for a transformation or to fix a problem with the leader. Yeah, when we say that this leader is an amazing individual contributor, we are wanting him to develop people development skills, people management skills. Can we equip this person with those skills using coaching? That's one of the use cases. Or we've not seen this person take accountability, we need coaching to fix him. Those have been the used case by case examples that I have observed. Would love to hear if others have seen any other form. And a lot of organizations have also said they are not yet actively engaging in coaching. And I think one of the questions I had was, what can we do about it? And I think that's what we were talking about. Can we showcase the strength of coaching? Can we present to them the ROI coaching? Can we present to them can we get them to experience coaching so that buy-in becomes that much more easier? Yeah. Assume the buy-in has happened, people have started executing. Now comes the strategy and design. So what models are you aware of in terms of coaching? What have you used in your organizations? So coaching needs to be smart. Yes. Yes, the goal of coaching has to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Absolutely, Ram. Coaching itself need not be smart, but the coaching goal has to be very smart. Totally agree. Yeah, what frameworks are you aware of? Mahaprita, the two of you seem to be most experienced in coaching. You want to share what frameworks are you aware of? And I was hearing one more voice. I'm not sure whose was that.
I'm not sure whether that is a coaching framework, but I have heard somewhere about like a grow framework. I think whether it is not coaching or training, I'm not sure about it.
It is a coaching model. Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
GROW stands for goal, reality, options, way forward. So we start by asking the coachee, what's your goal? And that's where Ram's SMART goal comes in. What's your goal? What do you want to achieve? What is the current reality? To give you a simple example, my goal could be I want to lose weight. What is my current reality? I don't have time. What options do I have? That's where the thinking actually happens. The options is the space where the coach spends a lot of time in trying to bring the coachee from a hopeless, I can't do anything, phase to, oh, I've got all of these options. It's not all that bad. Optimistic space, and then will their way forward. Which of these options are you going to try? How are you going to hold yourself accountable? And so on and so forth. Any other models you've heard of?
The wheel of life.
There was a plane flying by my place. I couldn't hear. Somebody said something.
The wheel of life. This is Ishita.
Ishita, Wheel of Life is a tool used for coaching, Ishita, wherein various aspects of your life, health, financial, um, uh, uh, growth, friends, family, relationships, spirituality, various aspects of your life, you rate yourself saying, I'm doing brilliant in terms of friends. Yeah, I'm doing brilliant in terms of family, financially. Oh my God, I'm so poor. No, so you rate yourselves across various parameters, and then the coach can use any of the frameworks. One of them we've spoken about, GROW, to make it into a wheel. If you're talking about a wheel with all those spokes and you rate yourself, it doesn't form a wheel. It is crooked. and we see a crooked edged wheel cannot roll. It is not smooth. Yeah, the idea is to make it as smooth as possible. Yeah, lovely. Any other framework?
Shanti, just to add, we talk a lot about SMART goals. So the other day I was
Yes.
reading an article where now SMART goals, they're converted into crisp goals. So,
Oh,
yeah, so I just wanted to say where C stands for challenging, R stands for robustness, and I stands for inspiration, S stands for strategy, and P stands for planned. So there was an article that was interesting. SMART goals now are changing to crisp goals.
crisp goals. I love that definition.
Yeah,
And it's
crisp.
not just do, it's also about the inspiration, and the big picture
Yeah.
thinking is already weaved in. Very nice. Thank you for sharing, Preeta.
Yeah, and how much we can challenge ourselves, to achieve that. So it's all about that. So taking the current workforce into account, the millennials coming, and Shanti, people are not willing to do repeated work. So they want
Oh,
everything
yeah,
some sort of challenging. They don't want to do a work which
absolutely.
is going to get obsolete in the near future. And all those. So they have changed it to crisp goals. So I just wanted to say that
Wonderful.
this came. Yeah, thank you.
So glad you shared. In fact, when I was working for a corporate around 3 years ago, my last organization, I used to say if you can list your job in a series
Yeah,
of steps, your
right.
role is going to become redundant. Be prepared for it.
Yes.
You know, uh,
Yeah.
if there is nothing that is dependent on your cognition, it is just a process steps that you're set of steps that you're following, you will
Yeah.
soon become redundant. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me share a few other models of coaching. One is a clear model. Again, contracting, basically set expectations and purpose of the coaching. See, L, listening. Are you listening actively? Empathetic listening. E is for exploring, reflective questions, comes in that space. A for actions, agreeing on the next steps. And finally, review, feedback, and closure. Very similar models. There is all of them, they start from goal to a action and final review. There is an Oscar model. O stands for outcome, scaling, K no, A affirm, and review. uh, and there is one fuel model. I just came about, got to read about it just last week. Basically, frame the conversation, understand the current state, explore the desired state, lay out the success plan. To me, that was just wording the grow model in a different way. Yeah, the G in grow stands for goal. Here they say frame the conversation. R is the reality. Here, understand the current state. So to me, it seemed fuel is just a reword, reframe of grow model is what it looked like. One very brilliant model is the ABCD model, very easy to remember. Um, Activating event, beliefs about the event, consequences, feelings, actions, what will happen, what will not happen, disputation of my own beliefs, and the final E is effects of the new thinking. If I'm disputing my beliefs, and what is the new thinking I'm having, and what are the impacts of the new beliefs. So there are various several models. I mean, there is no dearth of coaching models. I think more than the models, it's the conversations that coaches should really focus on. I won't talk about the differentiation of coaching and mentoring and feedback. I think we've covered that very explicitly as we began the session. Moving on to the next poll that we did in the group is, what do you believe? Sorry. I just jumped. What do you believe is the biggest barrier? And people said awareness and understanding. I think that just went high. Um, and I would really love to hear from all of you. Why is there a lack of awareness in terms of coaching?
Shanti, I think that people do not want to spend a dedicated time. Oh, I do not have, okay, I need to coach this person. Okay, let me talk to this person at the cafeteria. Or let me
Hmm.
talk to this person while after a tea break, during the tea break, or near after lunch, we can have a casual talk. I don't think there's any kind of a dedicated time allotted. That's what I feel, Shanti. People do that in pockets. Like when there's a framework, when there's a structure, then really you need to spend time, and then there is a concrete thing in place. I feel that could be one of the reasons, Shanti. People may be doing it not with a good framework or with a particular process in place.
So lack of structure or processes, and hence the rigor
Yeah.
and seriousness to embrace coaching
Yes.
is not there. Thank you,
Because
Krita.
Shanti, people think, oh, we are mentoring. There is mentorship. We are mentoring this
Yeah.
person.
And
Good amount of
mentoring
time. Yeah.
and training
Yeah.
gives quick results,
Yes. Quick
and
results.
people are looking for that
Yeah.
quick results.
Yes.
Can I
Yes, Shanti.
get it
That's
quickly?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
In the ad hoc organization, sorry, ad hoc coaching stage
Hmm.
one organizations, I think one
Yeah.
important problem is that individuals do not want to share information. They're afraid that people will get better of them. What they don't understand is when individuals grow, teams grow, and when teams grow,
Yeah.
organizations grow.
Lovely, lovely. Just the awareness that you are part of the whole. You can't withhold information. You can't expect only you grow. We can't have all Sachin Tendulkars or Rahul Dravids in the team and hope to win, right? We need all kinds of people in the team to win. And it is an exchange. It is a barter. You can't just survive on your own. Lovely. Thank you. Just helping people understand that it's not only for your growth for the team's growth. Everybody grows together. Thank you, Ram. Anything else?
Not sure if it is widely be applicable, but then um, uh, in many cultures, asking for support may be seen as a sign of weakness.
Yes.
I have spoken to a few people who don't think they need a coach, and
Yes.
while they need help, they certainly need help, and they are aware of it. But then, unfortunately, they don't understand how a coach can handhold them to what they want to achieve. So, yeah, culture could be one of the reasons.
Big thing, and that nudges me to say one more thing, Ishita, is the need for quick results. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, you didn't give me quick results, so coaching is not for me. You're going to it's going to take me 10 months to realize my goal. I'll go another route. Yeah, even then it's going to take them 10 months only. Uh, and with a lot more hardships. But yeah, that's a choice in the moment, because they know upfront how much time it's going to take. Because trainings will happen over 2 days, over 3 days. No, it's quick results that people get. But how many of us have actually used the training that we have been part of? Most people forget where their workbooks are kept, where their PDFs are put. Um, they hardly go back to practicing what they've learned in the workshops. And coaching is one way that will nudge them, ki, hello, please practice what you've learned, otherwise it's going to go wasted. Yeah. Yeah. Um, since not many of you have implemented coaching in your organization, let's just casually talk about how can Grow with Satori help you bring in that awareness in your organization, bring in that culture. What can we do to help and support you? किसी को भी support नहीं चाहिए. All right, then let's move forward. What skills do you think leaders or managers or individuals might need to build a culture of coaching?
first thing will be a good listening skills. Like they have
Brilliant.
to listen to understand, like not to respond immediately.
Yeah,
And apart from that, like it will be empathy, where they have to understand from the shoes of their coaches, so that like they can provide what input that is required at the moment.
brilliant. Listening, empathy, and
Apart from that, I feel like providing transparent feedbacks also will be helpful.
yeah, that open culture of seeking, receiving feedback, but feedback is the normal. Yeah, nobody points fingers, hey, you didn't give me good feedback. Yeah. Ram, you unmuted. Please share. What is it that you wanted to
Yeah,
say?
other thing I wanted to add is critical thinking skills. So take a step back and assess really what's going on before
Yeah,
providing a solution or thinking about whom to contact to provide a solution.
lovely. The good thing is the coach does not have to provide a solution. The coach only has to ask questions so that the coachee arrives at the solution that works best for them.
So facilitation.
Brilliant. I love the choice of the word facilitation. Yeah. So facilitation, definitely critical thinking. I'll not say no for critical thinking, but not with the intent of providing a solution, but with the intent of understanding what is being presented to them by their coachee. Yeah. What is being said and also what is not being said. That kind of ability to dissect what the coach is sharing. Brilliant. Anything else?
Reflective conversations.
Tell me more, Preeta. What does effective
Reflective,
conversation mean to
Shanti, that how agile you are, in the sense that when you talk to a coach, we need to find, the coachee needs to find the solution. So how you can make a coachee find the solution? So
Brilliant.
through reflective conversations, the pros, the cons,
Yeah,
the positives, the negatives. So you try
lovely.
to bring the coachee to that point wherein the coachee starts self-reflecting and arrives at the solution. So that is a good technique which is required,
So
Shanti.
beautifully put, Preeta. One of my mentors from the UK, she would say, don't use the term coach and the coachee,
Yeah.
Shanti. Use the term thinking enabler and thinker. So the coach
Oh,
is the
wonderful.
thinking enabler and
Yes.
the coachee is the thinker. So I used to love that term,
Yes.
but yeah,
Yes.
in
Yes.
India, not many resonated. I'm so glad you spoke about it. Very happy. Yeah, if I may add a couple more in case nobody has anything, being non-judgmental, not judging the coachee for thinking or sharing a piece of information. And I'll be honest, when I first was introduced to coaching, it was way back in 2008. And they gave me this Grow framework. I was becoming a coach as the manager, and they put me into coaching. And they used to pair coaches across the globe, coach and the coachee across the globe. And I got somebody from Hong Kong. We started talking, and her problem was that she was in a deep extramarital affair, and she did not want to disclose that to her husband yet. Why? Because she knew her husband was cheating her, and she had told him that she knows, and he said he wants to correct himself and he wants the relationship with her as they used to stay earlier, and she wanted to give him a second chance, but somewhere she did not trust him. This sounded like a Hindi soap story, and I was like, I don't know what I'm listening to. And I had already judged her in my head. I could not continue with the conversation because I'm like, this is not ethical. This is not right. Um, and we just wrapped up the conversation because I was speechless. I could not ask questions. I was not present in my head. Oh, not a good person. And this thing. Unfortunately, they had mentors, and this is the same UK mentor I'm talking about. That's when she told me, Shanti, you are judging. You do not know her situation. Uh, and then she gave me a few questions that I could ask to continue the conversation. It was a very different conversation beyond, but that being that non-judgmental is so important. Yeah.
The psychological place to fail, basically, right? Safe
Yeah.
space to fail.
Safe
You feel,
space.
yeah.
Yeah, if the coach cannot give that safe space, the coachee will never open up. Will never open up. Yeah, with that, we do come to the end of the conversation. I'm going to share just one screen that talks about all our social media handles for you to um, connect with us in case this interests you. All the discussion that we've had, we will convert it into a PDF and share with you. It does take us a while, but the recording will be posted a little bit sooner. It takes us a while for us to convert all the things that we've gathered into a PDF and share. In case there are any other ideas and thoughts that occurred to you even beyond the session and you'd like to share with me, please do message me. I will be very happy to include those as the collective wisdom of the group and share it back. With that, thank you so much for being such a lovely audience. See you in the next theme. I haven't thought what the next theme is going to be, but I'll come back soon with what we are going to be discussing and thinking about in our next session.
Thank you, Shanti. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Great
you,
session.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for the learning experience.
Thank you.